The morning sun painted the sky orange over New Arizona as Rebecca Thompson walked across her ranch yard. Her boots crunched on the dry ground while she carried a bucket of water to the horses. The air felt different today, heavy and strange. She stopped and looked up at the sky. Dark clouds moved in patterns that did not look right. Rebecca had lived on this frontier planet for 12 years. She knew how the weather worked here. These clouds were not normal. They twisted and turned like something was stirring them from above. The wind carried a smell she had never noticed before, sharp and bitter like burned metal. Her cattle stood near the fence, all facing the same direction toward the eastern hills. This was odd. Cattle usually spread out across the field to eat grass. Today they huddled together like they were scared of something. Their eyes were wide and they made low sounds deep in their throats. Rebecca set down the water bucket and walked over to the animals. She had raised these cattle from calves. She knew their habits better than anyone. When she got close, the biggest bull stepped back from her. He had never done that before. His ears were flat against his head and his tail moved back and forth quickly. "What is wrong with you today, big boy?" Rebecca said in a soft voice. She reached out her hand slowly. The bull snorted and moved further away. All the other cattle followed him. They formed a tight group near the back corner of the field. Rebecca felt a chill run down her back. Something was definitely wrong. She walked back to the ranch house where her 2 children were eating breakfast. Jake, who was 16, sat at the kitchen table looking at a small computer screen. Emma, 14, was making toast and humming a song. "Jake, have you checked the perimeter sensors this morning?" Rebecca asked as she came through the door. Jake looked up from his screen. "Not yet, Mom. Why do you ask?" "The animals are acting strange. The cattle will not come near me and the horses keep looking toward the hills." Emma turned around from the counter. "I noticed that too when I fed the chickens. They would not come out of their coop. I had to put the food inside for them." Jake stood up and walked to the control panel near the window. The panel showed readings from sensors placed around their property. These sensors could detect movement, heat, and other things that might be dangerous. Every ranch on New Arizona had them because wild animals and sometimes worse things roamed the planet. "That is weird," Jake said, staring at the screen. "The sensors show some kind of energy readings near the eastern border. But there's nothing there that should make energy like this." Rebecca moved to look over her son's shoulder. The screen showed wavy lines that jumped up and down. She had seen these patterns before when ships landed or took off from the spaceport in town, but there was no spaceport near their ranch. The nearest one was 50 miles away. "Could it be a ship?" Emma asked. "Maybe," Jake said. "But why would a ship land out there? There is nothing but rocks and dead trees in that area." Rebecca felt worried. During the early days of settlement on New Arizona, there had been problems with raiders and criminals who used the empty areas to hide. The government said those days were over, but Rebecca always kept her family prepared for trouble. "Jake, try to contact Marshal Cooper in town," she said. "Tell him about the readings." Jake pressed buttons on the communication panel. Static filled the air, then nothing. He tried again. More static. "The comm system is not working right," he said. "I can hear something, but I cannot get through to town." Rebecca's worry grew stronger. The communication system had never failed before. It was built to work in all kinds of weather and conditions. Outside, one of their dogs started barking. Then another joined in. Soon all 3 dogs were barking loudly and running around the yard. Rebecca looked out the window and saw them circling near the gate, their fur standing up on their backs. "I am going to ride out and check the eastern border," Rebecca said. "You 2 stay here and keep trying the radio." "Mom, maybe you should not go alone," Emma said. Her voice sounded scared. "I will take my rifle and stay on the main path. If I see anything dangerous, I will come right back." Rebecca went to her bedroom and got her hunting rifle from the closet. She also put on her heavy boots and a thick jacket. Before leaving, she made sure Jake knew how to use the emergency beacon that would call for help from the nearest military base. She saddled her horse, a strong brown mare named Star. The horse seemed nervous too, stepping sideways and tossing her head. It took longer than usual to get Star calm enough to ride. As Rebecca rode toward the eastern part of her land, she noticed more strange things. The grass in some areas looked burned even though there had been no fires. The burned patches made shapes that looked almost like symbols, but she could not read them. Near a group of rocks where her cattle usually went for shade, she found something that made her heart beat faster. 3 of her cows lay on the ground, not moving. She got off her horse and walked closer. The animals were dead, but they did not look like they had been killed by wolves or other predators. Their bodies had strange marks on them, small round burns that went deep into their skin. The marks were perfectly round and appeared to be made by something very hot. No animal Rebecca knew could make marks like these. She knelt down next to one of the cows and looked closer. The burns seemed to go all the way through the animal. Whatever had made these marks was more powerful than any weapon she had ever seen. Star made a loud noise and pulled at her reins. The horse wanted to leave this place quickly. Rebecca stood up and looked around. The air felt colder here, and that strange metal smell was stronger. In the distance toward the hills, she saw a flash of light. It was there for just a second, then gone, then another flash in a different spot. The lights were too bright to be sunlight reflecting off rocks. Rebecca mounted her horse and rode back toward home as fast as she could. Her mind raced with questions. What had killed her cattle? What was making those lights? Why were all the animals so scared? When she got back to the ranch house, Jake and Emma were standing in the yard looking worried. "Mom, something is wrong with the other ranches," Jake called out as she approached. "I finally got through on the radio. The Peterson place is not answering. Neither is the Miller Ranch or the Johnson Farm." Rebecca felt ice in her stomach. Those families lived on ranches within 20 miles of her place. If they were not answering their radios, something bad had happened to them. "Pack emergency supplies," she told her children. "Food, water, and warm clothes. Put everything in the truck." "Are we leaving?" Emma asked. "Maybe. But first we need to find out what is happening to our neighbors." As the sun began to set, the strange clouds grew thicker and darker. More flashes of light appeared in the hills, and the metal smell got stronger. Rebecca knew that whatever was coming had already begun to arrive. She looked at her children and made a silent promise. Whatever was threatening their home, she would protect them, even if it cost her everything. The next morning, Rebecca woke up to the sound of horses running fast toward her ranch. She jumped out of bed and looked through her bedroom window. Two small figures on horseback were racing across her field. They were riding hard like something was chasing them. Rebecca grabbed her rifle and ran outside. Jake and Emma followed her, still in their pajamas. The morning air was cold and the strange metal smell from yesterday was stronger now. As the riders got closer, Rebecca could see they were children. A boy and a girl, both riding the same horse. The animal looked tired and scared. Its sides were covered with sweat and foam. The horse stopped near the ranch house and both children slid off. The boy looked about 12 years old and the girl seemed younger, maybe 10. They had dark hair and brown skin. Their clothes were torn and dirty, like they had been traveling for a long time. "Please help us," the boy said. His voice shook with fear and tiredness. "Bad things came to our home. They burned everything." The little girl stood behind her brother. Her eyes were wide and she held onto his shirt with both hands. She looked like she had been crying for hours. Rebecca put her rifle down and walked slowly toward the children. She did not want to scare them more than they already were. "It is okay," she said in a soft voice. "You are safe now. What are your names?" "I am Tommy," the boy said. "This is my sister Lucy. We live on the reservation about 30 miles from here." Rebecca knew about the Native American reservation. It was a place where the Black Horse tribe had built a small community. They raised horses and grew crops in the valley between two mountain ranges. "Where are your parents?" Emma asked, stepping forward. Tommy looked at the ground. "Mama's gone. The Sky People took her. Papa told us to run and find help. He said to come here because you have good people." "Sky People," Jake said. "What do you mean?" Lucy finally spoke, her voice very quiet. "They came from above the clouds, in big silver things that made no sound. They had lights that burned everything they touched." Rebecca felt her stomach drop. The dead cattle with burn marks, the strange lights in the hills, the metal smell. These children were talking about the same things she had seen. "Come inside," Rebecca said. "You both need food and water. Then you can tell us everything that happened." In the kitchen, Rebecca made hot soup while Emma found clean clothes for the children. Jake tried the radio again but still got only static. Tommy and Lucy ate like they had not had food for days. "When did this happen?" Rebecca asked as she sat down at the table with them. 3 days ago, Tommy said, between bites of soup. "We were helping Papa fix the fence when we saw the silver things in the sky. They were huge, bigger than our whole village." Lucy nodded. "At first we thought they were just strange clouds. But then they came lower and we could see they were not clouds at all. What did they look like? Jake asked. Tommy thought for a moment. Like big metal plates, but round. They had lights underneath that changed colors. When the lights touched the ground, everything caught fire. Not regular fire, Lucy added. Cold fire that turned things to dust instead of ashes. Rebecca exchanged looks with Jake and Emma. This sounded like no weapon she had ever heard of. What happened to your village? Emma asked gently. Tommy's hands shook as he held his soup bowl. The sky people came out of their ships. They were tall and thin, wearing clothes that looked like metal. Their faces were covered so we could not see what they looked like. They had weapons that made beams of light, Lucy said. When they pointed them at houses, the houses just disappeared. When they pointed them at people, she started to cry and could not finish. Tommy put his arm around his sister. Papa gathered all the children and told us to hide in the old caves behind the village. He and the other adults stayed to fight. Did they fight back? Jake asked. Yes, but their guns did not work very well against the sky people. The bullets bounced off their metal clothes. Papa had a special gun, different from the others. It made blue light and it could hurt them. Rebecca was surprised. She had never heard of the reservation having advanced weapons. What kind of special gun? She asked. Tommy looked uncertain, like he was not sure if he should say more. Papa told us never to talk about his old job. But he was not always a horse rancher. Before we moved to New Arizona, he was a soldier on Earth. Not just any soldier, Lucy whispered. He was in the Star Wars, the ones they do not talk about on the news. Jake leaned forward. What Star Wars? The fighting against the bad aliens who tried to take Earth, Tommy said. Papa and his team stopped them. But it was supposed to be a secret. Rebecca felt pieces of a puzzle starting to fit together in her mind. She had heard rumors about conflicts with alien races, but the government always said they were just stories. Where is your father now? She asked. He told us to ride here and ask for help. Tommy said. He said he was going to contact his old team members, people who live on ranches like this one. Other soldiers, Emma asked. Lucy nodded. Papa said there are special people living all over New Arizona. They look like regular farmers and ranchers, but they are really guardians. They are supposed to protect the planet if the bad aliens ever come back. Rebecca felt a chill run down her spine. And your father thinks the bad aliens have come back? Yes, Tommy said. The sky people who attacked our village are the same ones Papa fought before. He recognized their ships and weapons. Outside, the dog started barking again. Rebecca went to the window and looked out. In the distance, she could see more flashes of light near the eastern hills. They were getting closer. Tommy, Lucy, she said, turning back to the children. Did your father give you any message for us? Any specific words? Tommy stood up straight like he was remembering something important. He said to tell you that the shadow has returned. He said you would know what that means. Rebecca did not know what it meant, but she felt like it was important. He also said, Lucy added, that we should not be afraid. Our Papa will fight for you. He will come with the others and they will stop the sky people like they did before. Jake looked at his mother. Mom, do you think there really are secret soldiers living on the other ranches? Before Rebecca could answer, the radio suddenly crackled to life. A man's voice came through the static, speaking in code words she did not understand. Eagle Nest to all units. The package has arrived. Repeat, the package has arrived. All Guardians report to stations immediately. Tommy and Lucy smiled for the first time since they had arrived. That is Papa's voice, Lucy said excitedly. He is calling his old team. And he is coming here, Tommy added, looking at Rebecca with hope in his eyes. Papa always keeps his promises. He will fight for you and your family just like he fought for us. Rebecca looked out the window again. The lights in the hills were definitely getting closer. But now, for the first time since this all started, she felt a small spark of hope. Help was coming. And if these children were right, it would be help unlike anything the aliens were expecting. 2 hours after the radio message, Rebecca heard the sound of vehicles approaching her ranch. She looked out the window and saw 3 trucks driving fast across the field. Dust clouds followed behind them like brown smoke. Tommy and Lucy ran to the window when they heard the engines. Lucy pressed her face against the glass and smiled big. Papa is here, she said happily. I can see his red truck in front. The truck stopped near the ranch house. Men and women got out of each vehicle. They looked like ordinary farmers and ranchers wearing regular work clothes and boots. But something about the way they moved was different. They walked like soldiers, alert and ready. A tall man with dark hair and brown skin stepped out of the red truck. He had strong shoulders and scars on his hands. When he saw Tommy and Lucy through the window, his face showed relief and love. "Papa," Lucy shouted, running outside. Tommy followed his sister. Both children hugged their father tight. The man knelt down and held them close, whispering words in their native language. Rebecca walked outside with Jake and Emma. She wanted to meet the man who had sent his children to her for help. "You must be Rebecca Thompson," the man said, standing up and extending his hand. "I am William Blackhorse. Thank you for taking care of my children." Rebecca shook his hand. His grip was firm and his eyes were serious. "They are good children. They told us about the attack on your village," William nodded. "The situation is worse than they know. The aliens have landing ships hidden in 12 different locations across New Arizona. They are preparing for a full invasion." "How do you know this?" Jake asked. William looked at the other people who had come with him. There were 6 of them, 3 men and 3 women. They all had the same alert look in their eyes. "Because we have been watching and waiting for this day for 15 years, William said. "Let me introduce my team." He pointed to each person as he spoke. "This is Robert Davis. He used to be a communications expert for Earth Defense Corps. That woman there is Linda Martinez. She was a weapons specialist. The man with the gray beard is Frank Wilson, our intelligence officer." Rebecca stared at them. "You are all former military." "Not just military," said Linda Martinez, stepping forward. "We were part of a special unit called Guardian Protocol. Our job was to stop alien invasions before they could succeed." Frank Wilson, the gray-bearded man, opened a metal case he was carrying. Inside were weapons that looked nothing like regular guns. They had blue lights and smooth metal surfaces. "These are plasma rifles," Frank explained. "They fire energy beams that can pierce alien armor. We have been hiding these weapons for years, waiting for the day we would need them again." Emma moved closer to look at the strange guns. "Why are you hiding here on ranches? Why not work for the government openly?" William's face became sad. "Because the government does not want people to know about the alien threat. They think it would cause panic. So they sent us here to live normal lives and watch for signs of invasion. But we are not really normal farmers," said Robert Davis with a small smile. "Every ranch and farm within 100 miles has at least one Guardian stationed there. We have been preparing for this day since the day we arrived." Tommy looked up at his father with pride. "I told them you would fight for them, Papa." William ruffled his son's hair. "That is right, son. We will protect every family on this planet. That is what Guardians do." Jake was still staring at the weapons. "If you have all this advanced equipment, why did the aliens attack your village so easily?" William's face became angry. "Because they came without warning and we were not ready. Most of our people do not know about the Guardian Protocol. Only a few of us knew what those ships really were. The aliens thought they were attacking helpless civilians," Linda added. "They did not expect any resistance. That gave us time to send out the warning signal." Rebecca looked at the group of people standing in her yard. They looked so ordinary, but now she understood they were trained warriors. "How many Guardians are there?" she asked. "On New Arizona, about 50 active agents," Frank said. "But we have support from hundreds of civilians who have been trained in basic defense. Most of them do not even know they are part of the plan." "What plan?" Emma asked. William walked over to his truck and pulled out a large map. He spread it on the hood of the vehicle. The map showed New Arizona with red marks in many places. "This is the Guardian Defense Network," he explained. "Every red mark is a safe house or weapons cache. Every blue mark is a communication station. Every green mark is a family that has been secretly trained in emergency procedures." Rebecca looked at the map and was amazed. Her ranch was marked with a blue dot. "You have been watching us." "Not watching you," Linda said kindly. "Protecting you. Your ranch was chosen as a communication hub because of its location. The radio equipment in your house is more advanced than you know." Jake's eyes went wide. "That is why we could hear the coded messages." "Exactly," Robert said. "Your communication system has been modified to receive Guardian signals. We just never told you because we hoped this day would never come." William pointed to different areas on the map. "The aliens have landed here, here, and here. They are building bases and bringing in more ships. In 3 days they will have enough forces to attack the main settlements." "What can we do to stop them?" Rebecca asked. "We fight," William said simply. "We use everything we have learned and every weapon we have hidden. We show these aliens that humans do not give up easily. Lucy tugged on her father's shirt. Papa, will we win? William knelt down and looked into his daughter's eyes. We will win because we have something the aliens do not understand. We fight for our families, our homes, and our freedom. That makes us stronger than any advanced technology. Frank closed his weapon case and looked at Rebecca. Mrs. Thompson, we need to use your ranch as our command center. Your house has the best communication equipment and your land gives us a good view of the surrounding area. Rebecca looked at her children, then at Tommy and Lucy, then at the brave people who had come to protect them all. Use whatever you need, she said firmly. This is our home and we will defend it. William smiled for the first time since he had arrived. Good, then let us get to work. We have a lot to do before the aliens realize what they are really facing. As the sun began to set, the Guardian team started unloading equipment from their trucks. Rebecca watched them work and felt something she had not felt since the trouble began. Hope. These people were not just soldiers. They were protectors who had given up normal lives to keep families like hers safe. And now they were ready to prove that humanity would not surrender without a fight. The next morning, Rebecca barely recognized her own ranch. The Guardians had worked all night to transform it into a military base. Strange machines sat in her fields, pointed toward the sky. Her barn was now full of weapons and equipment she had never seen before. William stood in the ranch house kitchen, talking into a radio headset. Maps covered every surface of the room. Red lights blinked on several computer screens that had appeared overnight. Alpha Team reports alien movement near Sector 7, he said into the microphone. Send recon unit to confirm numbers. Jake walked into the kitchen carrying a tray of coffee cups. He had been helping the Guardians since sunrise, eager to do his part. Mr. Blackhorse, the perimeter sensors are all working now, Jake reported. Robert says we can detect alien ships from 20 miles away. William nodded and took a cup of coffee. Good work, Jake. Your technical skills have been very helpful. Rebecca came in from outside, where she had been helping Linda Martinez set up defensive positions. Her clothes were dirty and her hands were sore, but she felt useful. The weapon platforms are ready, she said. Linda showed me how to operate the plasma cannons. They are much easier to use than I expected. Emma entered the kitchen with Tommy and Lucy behind her. All three children carried small radio devices. We finished placing the communication relays around the property, Emma announced. Now we can talk to each other no matter where we are on the ranch. Tommy looked proud. Papa, I showed them how to hide the radios so the aliens cannot see them. William smiled at his son. You did well. Your knowledge of camouflage will help keep everyone safe. Frank Wilson came through the front door, moving quickly. His face was serious. William, we have a problem, he said. Marshal Cooper is here with some Colonial Defense Force soldiers. They want to know what we are doing. Through the window, Rebecca could see several military vehicles parked near her gate. Soldiers in green uniforms stood around them, looking confused and suspicious. I will handle this, William said. He walked outside with Frank following close behind. Rebecca and the children watched from the window as William approached the soldiers. A man in an officer's uniform stepped forward to meet him. That is Captain Martinez, Jake said. He commands the Colonial Defense Force for this region. The conversation between William and Captain Martinez was too quiet to hear, but their body language showed tension. The captain pointed at the alien technology visible around the ranch. William showed him some papers from his pocket. After several minutes, Captain Martinez's expression changed from suspicion to surprise, then to understanding. He nodded and shook William's hand. What do you think happened? Emma asked. I think Papa showed him the Guardian authorization codes, Tommy said. Those papers prove we are the good guys. William and Captain Martinez walked back toward the house together. The captain looked amazed as he saw all the defensive equipment. Mrs. Thompson, Captain Martinez said as he entered the kitchen. I had no idea your ranch was a Guardian safe house. This changes everything. What does it change? Rebecca asked. It means we have real hope of stopping this invasion, the captain replied. My soldiers have good training but basic weapons. Your Guardian team has the technology and experience we need. William spread a new map on the table. This one showed the positions of both Guardian forces and Colonial defense troops. Captain, we need to coordinate our efforts, William said. The aliens will attack in waves. First, they will test our defenses with small groups. Then they will send their main force. Captain Martinez studied the map. How long do we have? "12 hours," Frank answered, coming back into the kitchen. "Our scouts report alien ships gathering in the eastern mountains. They are preparing for a major assault." Linda Martinez entered the room carrying a large metal case. "The heavy weapons are ready. We have enough plasma artillery to stop their first wave, but we need to make every shot count." Rebecca looked at all the serious faces around her table. "What can my family do to help?" "You and your children know this land better than anyone," William explained. "We need you to guide our teams to the best defensive positions. Your knowledge could save lives." Jake stepped forward. "Mom, I want to operate one of the communication stations. Robert taught me how to coordinate between the different teams. And I want to help with the medical station," Emma added. "Linda showed me how to treat injuries from alien weapons." Rebecca felt proud of her children, but also scared. "Are you sure it is safe for them to help?" "Nothing is completely safe right now," William said honestly. "But your children have skills we need, and they will be safer here with us than anywhere else on the planet." Tommy raised his hand like he was in school. "Papa, can Lucy and I help too?" "You already are helping," William told his son. "Your job is to watch for danger and warn us if you see anything unusual. Your young eyes notice things adults miss." Captain Martinez received a message on his radio. His face became worried as he listened. "What is it?" Frank asked. "3 more ranches have stopped responding to radio calls," the captain said. "The aliens are moving faster than we expected." William stood up and put on his weapon belt. "Then we move faster too. Everyone to battle stations. The real fight is about to begin." Rebecca watched as the kitchen emptied quickly. Guardians and soldiers ran to their positions across the ranch. Jake went to the main communication center while Emma headed to the medical station they had set up in the barn. Tommy and Lucy climbed up to the roof of the house where they could watch the horizon with binoculars. Their job was to spot enemy ships and report their movements. Rebecca picked up her plasma rifle and checked its power levels like Linda had taught her. The weapon felt strange in her hands, but she was determined to protect her home. William appeared beside her, also carrying his weapon. "Are you ready for this?" he asked. Rebecca looked around at her ranch, now transformed into a fortress. She thought about her neighbors who might already be dead or captured. She thought about her children and their future on this planet. "I am ready," she said firmly. "This is our home. We will not let anyone take it from us." William nodded with respect. "That is the spirit that makes humans dangerous enemies. The aliens think we are just farmers and ranchers. They have no idea what they are about to face." In the distance, the first alien ships appeared over the eastern hills. They moved slowly like predators stalking their prey. Their metal hulls reflected the afternoon sunlight, making them look like deadly silver birds. "Here they come," Tommy called from the roof. Rebecca gripped her weapon tighter and took her position behind one of the defensive barriers. Around her, guardians and soldiers prepared for battle. The peaceful ranch had become a battleground. But for the first time since this all began, Rebecca felt confident. They were not helpless victims waiting to be defeated. They were humans, and humans had something no alien invader could understand. They had the will to fight for everything they loved, no matter what the cost. The alien ships moved across the sky like dark clouds of metal. Rebecca counted 12 of them, each one the size of a building. They made no sound as they flew, which made them even more frightening. "First wave approaching from the east," Tommy called from the roof. "They are spreading out in attack formation." William spoke into his radio headset. "All teams prepare for contact. Remember your training and trust your equipment." Rebecca crouched behind a metal barrier that the Guardians had built during the night. Her plasma rifle felt heavy in her hands, but Linda had shown her exactly how to use it. Point, aim, and pull the trigger. The weapon would do the rest. Jake's voice came through the communication system. "Perimeter sensors show alien landing craft deploying from the main ships. Estimate 40 to 50 enemy soldiers incoming." The first alien craft touched down about half a mile from the ranch house. A ramp opened and tall figures in silver armor began marching out. They carried weapons that glowed with red light. "Just like before," Lucy whispered from her position on the roof. "The same bad aliens that hurt our village." William raised his weapon and looked through its sight. "Wait for my signal. Let them get closer so we cannot miss." The aliens moved, forward in perfect lines like they were marching in a parade. They clearly expected no resistance from the human ranchers. Their leader pointed toward the ranch house and made gestures to his troops. Rebecca could see their faces now through the clear helmets they wore. They looked almost human, but with pale gray skin and large black eyes. Their mouths were small and their movements seemed too smooth, like they were floating instead of walking. "Fire!" William shouted. Blue beams of plasma energy shot out from positions all around the ranch. The first volley caught the aliens completely by surprise. Several of them fell immediately, their silver armor smoking and sparking. The aliens scattered and returned fire with their red beam weapons. The energy bolts made hissing sounds as they flew through the air. When they hit the ground, they left small craters of melted earth. "Stay low," Linda called out from her position. "Their weapons can burn through most cover." Captain Martinez and his soldiers joined the battle from their positions near the barn. Their regular guns were not as effective as the plasma weapons, but they kept the aliens busy and confused. Rebecca aimed carefully at an alien who was trying to flank their position. She pulled the trigger and watched her blue beam strike the creature in the chest. It fell backward and did not get up. "Good shot, Mom," Emma called from the medical station. She was ready to help anyone who got injured during the fight. More alien ships appeared in the sky. These were smaller and faster than the first ones. They swooped down toward the ranch like metal birds of prey. "Air attack incoming," Tommy warned from the roof. Frank Wilson was ready for them. He operated a large plasma cannon that could target flying enemies. As the alien fighters dove toward the ranch, Frank's cannon fired repeatedly. Blue streaks of energy reached up into the sky. One alien fighter took a direct hit and exploded in a ball of orange fire. Pieces of burning metal rained down on the field. The other fighters pulled up quickly, surprised by the heavy resistance. "They did not expect us to have anti-aircraft weapons," Frank said with satisfaction. The battle continued for 20 minutes. Aliens kept coming from different directions, but the Guardians were ready for them. Every attack was met with precise plasma fire. Every alien advance was stopped by coordinated human defense. Rebecca noticed something strange about the alien tactics. They seemed confused by the human resistance. Their attacks lacked coordination, like they could not adapt to unexpected situations. "William," she called during a break in the fighting. "They do not seem very smart about warfare." William nodded as he reloaded his weapon. Aliens rely too much on technology and not enough on thinking. They expect their superior weapons to win battles for them. "But humans learn and adapt," Jake added from his communication post. "We figure out solutions even when we are outgunned." The aliens seemed to realize their first assault had failed. The remaining ships pulled back to a safer distance. Rebecca could see them regrouping and probably planning a new attack. "This is just the beginning," Captain Martinez said as he checked on his soldiers. "They will come back with more forces and better tactics." Frank was studying the alien positions through binoculars. "I count at least 6 ships still operational, plus whatever forces they have held in reserve." William gathered his team leaders for a quick meeting. "The aliens now know we have real defenses. Their next attack will be more coordinated and more dangerous." "How long until they attack again?" Rebecca asked. "Maybe an hour," Linda estimated. "They need time to analyze what happened and plan their response." Jake received a message through his radio equipment. His face lit up with excitement. "Good news. Guardian teams at other ranches are reporting successful defenses too. The aliens are being stopped everywhere they attack." "Even better news," Captain Martinez added, listening to his own radio. "More colonial defense forces are moving to support us. We will have reinforcements within 2 hours." Tommy climbed down from the roof and ran to his father. "Papa, I saw something strange. Some of the alien ships are leaving. They are flying away instead of preparing to attack again." William looked surprised. "Leaving? Why would they leave?" Lucy joined her brother. "Maybe they are scared. Maybe they did not think humans could fight back so well." Frank lowered his binoculars and smiled. The girl might be right. Alien invasions usually succeed because they surprise defenseless populations. But we were ready for them. Rebecca felt a surge of hope. "Are you saying we might actually win this?" "We already are winning," William said proudly. "Every alien ship we destroy, every attack we stop, Proves that humans cannot be conquered easily. Emma came running from the medical station. I just heard on the emergency radio. Cities all over New Arizona are fighting back. People are using hunting rifles, farm equipment, anything they can find. The aliens are facing resistance everywhere. Captain Martinez was monitoring multiple radio channels. Reports coming in from across the planet. The aliens expected easy conquest but found determined resistance instead. That is the human way, William said, looking at his children and then at Rebecca's family. We do not give up. We do not surrender. We fight for our homes and families no matter what the odds. In the distance, more alien ships were visible above the eastern mountains, but now they seemed hesitant, unsure of their next move. The easy invasion they had planned was turning into a real war. Rebecca reloaded her plasma rifle and checked her position. The battle was not over yet. More fighting was coming. But for the first time since the aliens arrived, she truly believed they could win. The aliens had made one critical mistake. They had underestimated the fighting spirit of ordinary humans who were defending everything they loved. The alien mothership appeared just as the sun began to set. It was massive, 10 times larger than any ship they had seen before. It hung in the sky like a dark mountain blocking out the stars. That is their command ship, William said, staring up at the enormous vessel. The leader of this invasion is on board. Rebecca felt a chill of fear looking at the huge ship. Can our weapons hurt something that big? We are about to find out, Frank replied, adjusting the settings on his plasma cannon. Jake's voice crackled through the radio from his communication post. I am receiving messages from Guardian teams across the planet. The aliens are making their final push everywhere. This is their last chance to win. The mothership began to glow with red light along its bottom edge. Energy was building up for some kind of massive weapon. Everyone take cover, William shouted. That ship is charging its main gun. A beam of red energy shot down from the mothership toward a hill about 2 miles away. When the beam hit, the entire hilltop exploded in a burst of fire and smoke. When the smoke cleared, the hill was gone, turned into a crater of melted rock. If that thing hits us directly, we are finished, Captain Martinez said grimly. Then we do not let it hit us, William replied. He was looking at something in his equipment case. Frank, remember the quantum disruptor we brought from Earth? Frank's eyes went wide. William, that weapon was never tested in real combat. We do not know if it will work. We do not have a choice, William said, pulling out a device that looked like a large rifle with strange blue crystals attached to it. This is designed to overload alien energy systems. Rebecca watched as William and Frank worked together to set up the strange weapon. It required a power connection to their main generator and precise aiming at the mothership. How close do you need to get? She asked. Close enough to hit the ship's main reactor, William said. About half a mile. That puts you right under their weapons, Captain Martinez pointed out. William nodded. I know, but someone has to try. Tommy ran up to his father. Papa, let me come with you. I can help carry equipment. No, son. This is too dangerous. You stay here and protect the others. Lucy grabbed her father's hand. Papa, what if the weapon does not work? William knelt down and hugged both his children. Then we keep fighting with everything else we have. Humans never give up, remember? Jake called out from his radio station. William, I'm getting reports that other Guardian teams are attacking the mothership from different directions. You will not be going alone. William smiled with determination. Good. Coordinated attacks have a better chance of success. Rebecca made a decision. I am coming with you. Rebecca, no, William protested. This is not your fight. Yes, it is, she said firmly. This is my planet, my home, my children's future. I will not hide while others take all the risks. Emma and Jake both started to object, but Rebecca held up her hand. You two stay here and help coordinate the defenses. If William and I do not come back, you follow Captain Martinez's orders. William saw the determination in Rebecca's eyes and nodded with respect. Very well. But we do this my way. Follow my lead and do exactly what I tell you. They loaded the quantum disruptor into William's truck along with backup power cells and extra weapons. Captain Martinez assigned 4 of his best soldiers to go with them. As they drove across the field toward the mothership, Rebecca could see the massive vessel more clearly. It had hundreds of small weapon ports along its sides. Alien fighters swarmed around it like angry insects. The ship's reactor should be in the center of the bottom section, William explained as they drove. "We need to get directly underneath it." Alien ground forces tried to stop their advance. Red energy beams shot at the truck from hidden positions. William drove in zigzag patterns to avoid the shots while Rebecca and the soldiers returned fire with their plasma rifles. One alien beam hit the truck's back tire, causing it to spin out of control. William managed to keep it upright as they slid to a stop about 300 yards from their target. "We go on foot from here," William said, grabbing the quantum disruptor. They ran across open ground while alien weapons fired at them from all directions. One of Captain Martinez's soldiers was hit and fell. Rebecca stopped to help him, but he waved her on. "Go," the wounded soldier said. "Complete the mission." William set up the quantum disruptor behind a large rock that provided some protection. The weapon had to be perfectly aligned with the mothership's reactor core. "Rebecca, I need you to operate the targeting system while I handle the power controls," William said. Rebecca looked through the weapon's sight and saw a complex display of lights and numbers. William had taught her the basics during their drive, but this was more complicated than anything she had ever used. "I see the target," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "The reactor core is glowing white in the center of the ship." "Good, hold that position. Do not let the target drift out of the crosshairs." William began the charging sequence. The weapon made a high whining sound as power built up in its crystal components. The alien mothership seemed to sense the threat and began moving slowly to the side. "The target is moving," Rebecca called out. "Adjust your aim. Stay locked on the reactor core." Rebecca moved the targeting sight to follow the ship's movement. Sweat dripped into her eyes, but she did not dare blink or look away. Above them, the mothership's main weapon was charging again. Red light grew brighter along its bottom edge. "William, they are about to fire at us," one of the soldiers warned. "Almost ready," William replied, his hands flying over the weapon's controls. 5 more seconds. The mothership's weapon reached full charge. A massive red beam began to form. "Fire!" William shouted. Rebecca pressed the trigger. A brilliant blue beam shot up from their position toward the alien ship. The beam was so bright it hurt to look at directly. The blue energy hit the mothership's reactor core with perfect accuracy. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire ship began to shake and flicker. Explosions started inside the mothership. First small ones, then larger ones, then massive blasts that lit up the evening sky. The ship's red weapon beam sputtered and died. "It is working," Rebecca said in amazement. The mothership tried to climb higher into the sky, but more explosions tore through its hull. Pieces of alien metal began falling to the ground like deadly rain. Suddenly, the entire ship split in half. Both sections crashed into the mountains with explosions that could be heard for miles. The alien command center was completely destroyed. William grabbed his radio. "Command ship is down. Repeat, the mothership has been destroyed." Cheers came through the radio from Guardian teams across the planet. Jake's excited voice was among them. "Mom, William, you did it. The aliens are retreating everywhere." Rebecca looked up at the sky where the mothership had been. Smaller alien ships were flying away as fast as they could, abandoning their invasion attempt. "Is it over?" she asked. William was monitoring multiple radio channels. "The aliens are in full retreat. They are leaving New Arizona and heading back toward deep space." Captain Martinez's voice came through the radio. "All Guardian teams, this is Captain Martinez. The invasion has been repelled. Repeat, the alien invasion has failed." Rebecca felt her legs go weak with relief. They had done it. Somehow, ordinary ranchers and farmers had defeated an advanced alien invasion force. William helped her back to the truck. "You did well today, Rebecca. Your children should be proud of their mother." As they drove back toward the ranch, Rebecca could see lights coming on in houses across the valley. People were emerging from hiding places, realizing the danger had passed. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now we rebuild," William said. "We help the families who lost homes and loved ones. We prepare for the possibility that other aliens might come someday. Will you stay on New Arizona?" William smiled. "This is our home now. Tommy and Lucy love this planet. Besides, the Guardian Protocol is still active. We need to be ready if humanity ever faces this kind of threat again." When they reached the ranch, Jake, Emma, Tommy, and Lucy ran out to meet them. Rebecca hugged her children tight, grateful they were all safe. "I am proud of all of you," she told them. "You were brave when it mattered most." Tommy looked up at his father with admiration. "Papa, you really did fight for them, just like you promised." William ruffled his son's hair. "That is what Guardians do, son. We protect families and defend our homes." Jake looked around at the ranch, still filled with Guardian equipment and weapons. Will things go back to normal now? Rebecca thought about that question. After everything they had been through, after learning about the hidden protectors among them, nothing would ever be quite the same. Maybe not normal, she said, but better. We know now that we are not alone. We know that when danger comes, ordinary people can do extraordinary things to protect what they love. As the stars came out that night, Rebecca stood on her porch looking across her land. The aliens had thought they could easily conquer a planet of simple farmers and ranchers. They had been very wrong. Humanity had shown that it would never surrender without a fight. And sometimes that fighting spirit was enough to overcome any enemy, no matter how advanced their technology might be.